Okay, so this is written over a period of time and was updated around the end of August, beginning of September 2012. The present. On a daily basis, I experience a form of vertigo. It feels like I'm rocking back and forth, sort of like this. Sometimes it feels as though the floor is dropping out from under me. Usually this only happens when I'm walking upstairs in dim light. The symptoms of vertigo come and go and are no longer as constant as when my illness first began. As well as I used to have daily headaches, but these have stopped about 3 weeks ago, which coincidentally coincided with me taking a parasite cleanse on and off for about 3 weeks and having a couple of cranial sacral treatments. I get a bit of nausea when I experience the vertigo. Watching TV or working on a computer can exacerbate the symptoms. Sometimes when I force myself to work on a computer all day, I get the shakes because I'm overtaxing my system. The vertigo can come on if I move or turn my head quickly, or if I'm driving when I bring the car to a stop. Sometimes it can be triggered for no reason that I can discern. I also experience anxiety on a daily basis. I frequently have the feeling that I'm going to die soon. The history. On or around March 25th, 2012, I was experiencing dizziness and just felt unwell. I went to my GP, Dr. Felix Klajner, on March 27th, 2012, who initially thought that the dizziness I was experiencing was because I was no longer taking antidepressants. So he prescribed 10 milligrams of Cipralex daily. Previously, I had been taking 50 milligrams of Pristique daily for about 2.5 years. I had weaned off of the Pristique under the supervision of Mr. Klajner, or Dr. Klajner, in January 2012. Commencing on March 28th, I was bedridden with vertigo for 2.5 weeks. I could not eat. I lost 17 pounds. My partner returned from a business trip on March 31st and took me to the Sunnybrook Emergency Department in Toronto. They diagnosed me with peripheral vertigo, which isn't a diagnosis, it's a symptom, and gave me a CAT scan and said that it showed no evidence of a tumor. I asked my GP at the time to request a copy of the same, but I've not received it yet, and it's December. The intern gave me a prescription for ondansetron and gave me a prescription for Circ beta-histine at the urging of Tristan, I might add. It was Tristan who looked up the Circ. I went to my GP, Felix Klajner, a couple of days after my emergency room visit, and it was at that time he diagnosed me with vestibular neuritis. He said its cause was viral, as he could see no visual disturbance in my ear canals, that there was a bacterial infection. He renewed the prescriptions for Circ beta-histine and ondansetron, increasing the Circ from, I think it was 8 milligrams twice a day to 24. The ondansetron made a huge difference. It relieved my nausea, and I could eat some soft foods initially and then a regular diet a few days later. I took the ondansetron twice daily for 2.5 weeks, or 2.5 to 3 weeks, and then stopped as I was no longer getting nauseous to the point where I could not eat. I've since resumed a regular diet and have gained back, well, at that time, 5 of the pounds I had lost, and now that I'm on steroids, probably about another 20. I've since resumed I'm not sure that if the Circ has really done anything for me, and I discontinued using it on the recommendation of an ear, nose, and throat specialist that I saw in June 2012. So I saw him in June 2012, July, August, September, October. It took 4 months for me to get the MRI that showed that I had glioblastoma multiforme. The ENT, however, did not think that I had vestibular neuritis because my symptoms had been going on too long. So back I went to see the GP. About 2 weeks after the onset of my illness, I asked the GP if he thought that any vestibular rehabilitation exercises would be of benefit. He told me he didn't think that they were necessary and I would continue to improve and would be fine and well in just a week or two. For 2 weeks prior to the onset of my symptoms, I was having panic attacks almost daily. And on a couple occasions, I had 2 panic attacks per day. I started to notice that activities like watching TV or sitting in the hot tub would make me a bit dizzy, and then shortly thereafter, I would have a panic attack. The attacks would last 2 to 4 hours. For 4 to 5 months prior to the onset of my symptoms, I had a general sense of malaise. I just did not feel well, and I started to experience panic attacks on a frequent basis, once or twice a week at least. At the time I attributed it to my lifestyle, smoking, drinking to excess, etc. However, even after I quit smoking and tried to moderate my drinking, I still did not feel well. And from time to time, I would feel a little wobbly or dizzy. There were a couple of occasions when I was afraid to drive because of, my condition. And this was during the day when I had not been drinking. The frequency of my panic attacks diminished when I quit smoking in December 2011, and then started happening more frequently in February 2012. At that point, I started to have them around twice a week. I saw my GP, Felix Klaschner, about this, and he diagnosed me with severe panic disorder. That's not what I had, Felix.